Here's some stories from Dad about his memories between 1935 and 1936.
1995, we were at 227 Shoals Road in Pinnacle, North Carolina, right outside of Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. And this tape is being made for Rob Matheson and for Eric Matheson so they can hear about their Grandpa Parsche's trip out west. From time to time you will hear me striking a match and lighting a cigarette. You may hear, yes, and Grandma Parsche's here, but she is supposed to be quiet. It's going to be very difficult for her. Okay, and I'll just ask Grandpa Parsche questions, and we're getting aligned here. I'm just going to ask him questions, and then he's going to just talk about his trip out west. See, this was what year? Do you remember what year you went, Daddy?
1935.
1935. And you graduated from high school in 1935? Okay, so how old were you then? 18 or 19?
18.
Mother's making faces over there because she wants to answer the questions, but we'll have to have her make a paper for Owen about something. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, we were working at the canning company, and we canned peas, and after the peas were gone, then we canned corn. So after that, well, then there wasn't any more work to be done. So the four fellows, see, with myself and Johnny Longer and Lynn Seidenreiter and Leonard Patrick, who all worked there.
So it was four of you guys?
4 guys. So we decided, and then they had this truck for sale for $25. So when we got our checks, we all chipped in and bought the Model T truck.
What year was the truck? Older than you guys? Was it older?
Oh, sure. Jenny was, see, that was 35. That truck would have been at least 28.
1928.
Model.
Okay.
It was a big box on the back, and there was about a 1/4-inch steel, plate, metal.
Oh, so it was a very heavy truck.
It was a heavy truck, and it already had the roof on it, but it didn't have anything on the back.
Okay.
So we put a back on it, and put a window in it, so we could see out of it. We put 1, 2, 3, 4 bunks in there, and fixed them so we could, during the daytime, we could just swing them up in the hookup, and then at night we drop them down.
Oh, that was neat. You must have had fun doing that, I would think.
Well, that's something to do,
Now, we got to clarify something for Eric and Rob, because they always used to ask me if I had come to Wisconsin in a covered wagon, and because they had trouble getting the times right. So this truck was not drawn by horses. It was powered by gasoline, right? Right. Right. Okay. And did it have rubber tires on it?
Oh, yes.
Inflated rubber tires?
It had, in the front, oh sure, they were inflated. Yeah, put air in them. The front tires were smaller than the back ones in the back. I have no idea.
I think that is.
But the back ones had dual tires.
2 tires?
2 tires on each side.
Oh, it must have been a good truck.
It was a good truck.
And it sounds like it was bulletproof too, with that heavy metal. Heavy metal.
If you ever get to Julianne's, she's got a picture.
She's got a picture of it?
Oh.
How many cylinders did the engine have?
Four.
Four cylinders?
4 cylinder.
And at that time, there wasn't unleaded gasoline. There was just gasoline, right?
I have no idea what was
whatever was in the
regular
pump.
gas because I don't know. Most people had Model Ts in those days, or 4-cylinder cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it was going, how fast did it go? I mean, what was the fastest you think it would go?
Oh, downhill probably went to go really fast. But uphill it didn't go so fast. Because a lot of times in the mountains we all had to get out and push the thing out there. And then we did a rock and, and stick in the back of the wheel so it went back down.
Oh gosh,
and then we'd all rest and then we'd start up again. So when we got to the top, then we had to use the brake going down. And when we got to the bottom, we had to stay there for a day to fix the brakes for the new brake linings.
Oh, that's funny. So, you guys got in this truck, and now, did you take a bunch of groceries with you when you went?
Well, sure, we had a lot of stuff to eat. Flour and sugar and breakfast food and like oatmeal, mainly oatmeal. Yeah. A lot of potatoes, vegetables. The first day we got down as far as Janesville was gone. And we stayed there at night. The road just wore off the side of the road. And the next day we got, I can't remember that. Well, we would have to go across the Mississippi River. And we didn't go across where the big city was. We went north of that. There was a bridge there, and we could go around the big cities. Always go around the big cities.
Why?
Because we didn't want to get caught up in the traffic and find your way out. So we knew exactly where we were going. We were always going west.
Did you have a map that you were following?
Oh yeah, we had those maps.
When you left, did you have a destination in mind, like San Francisco or Houston, Texas, or like a definite place you were heading towards?
We were just going west.
Go west, young man.
Go west, yeah. That's those are the WPA work days too, and the kids couldn't get jobs. So that's what we did. But John was about 35 years old, and the rest of us were, Leonard Patrick was 20-something. I married myself. So he didn't graduate from high school. I was the only one that graduated from high school. So we just thought nothing else. Second day, we got across. First day we got as far as Janesville. Second day we went down. We didn't get across the Mississippi River. Third day we got across the Mississippi River. And then we headed southwest towards Texas.
The roads back in 1935, were they concrete roads or asphalt roads or dirt roads? Or I guess maybe all kinds?
All different types. The main highway, the big highway where the trucks went, was concrete. And some of them were asphalt, and a lot of them were dirt roads. Especially through Texas.
During this time, when you left, the United States was in the Great Depression, which started probably in 1929 with the fall of the stock market. And concurrently with this, or what helped what made this depression terrible was the dryness. There was no rain out west.
That's correct. It was very dry. They hadn't had rain for I don't know how many years. And that's why all these Okies, we call them Okies.
Because they were from Oklahoma?
They left their farms, Oklahoma and Missouri and all those states. They lost all their farms, all these farmers. And couldn't grow any crops and didn't have any money.
So they were going west too?
So they were going west too.
And you were going right along with them?
We were going along with them.
Did you?
We had the best looking truck to
You did?
Some of those trucks were, the families would be sitting in them and they had just any kind of boards that they could get and put that on the top. And then they had tin cans that they took and cut apart and flattened them all out and put them over the hose.
Of their truck.
Of the truck, the top of the truck.
Did you ever get to meet any of them?
Oh, sure, a lot of them. We helped a lot of them out.
How?
Well, like helping them get over the mountain.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you pushed them?
We helped them. We parked the truck. There were stops along the road where we could park. And sometimes, just like these things, you get to the top, then they could go down by themselves, but then they'd burn out the brakes.
I bet they were really glad to see 4 healthy, strong young men.
Yeah.
Come along.
No, well, we didn't have nothing to do, so we just helped them out. Otherwise, they would have never got there. Yeah, it was easy going up, but hard going down. Because you had to brakes in those days weren't like they got now.
Yeah.
Oh. The first place that we stopped was they had we were down, got down into the valley, and there was a big water tower there, so we drove our truck over there, and it was all cotton planted around there, all cotton. And this fellow came out, nice guy. We asked him if he could have some water. He said, sure. Then he said, you want a job? We said, well, picking cotton. We never took cotton. So he said, sure. So we stayed there, picked some cotton for, I don't know how long. But you make a couple bucks a day, that was about it. So then we moved farther and we had then we moved into where they had the raised vegetables, so lettuce mainly and peas. It was all cooked. You had to water all of that stuff. Otherwise it wouldn't grow.
Right.
It was good ground, but you had to have a lot of water.
Because there was no rain.
No rain. So we stopped and asked them if they need help. He said, sure. The first, this is funny, the first day we stopped where there was cotton and we asked the guy, I still remember, a very nice guy. His wife was with him and he was really a cheerful fellow. He said, sure. So, he says the bag is going to cost you, that's $1.50. It's a long bag from here over there, and you put it, over your shoulder and the trail behind or on the side. And so we started picking and boy, and all of a sudden my fingers, from those
Trippers?
into those bowls, they were sharp in there. They were bleeding. Yeah. And then we just kept on working, and all of a sudden this guy, he started blowing the horn, and I looked, and everybody was going with us. The 4 guys. They were all went in and wagered how much they had and got paid, and he was waiting for us.
For you guys.
It was getting dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much did you make?
Well, at the best in the day's time, $2 maybe, $2.
Yeah.
That was hard work.
Back-breaking work.
Back-breaking work.
And your fingers and your cuticles got all turned out.
Every day.
Like in Gone with the Wind, I remember that when the girls were taking cotton, their hands were all.
He had some tents there, and he let us use one tent for cooking. We had a little stove that we had made. It was good.
Did you go to a store to get food, or did you just?
Well, yes, we went to Phoenix. Once a week we go to Phoenix. We get showers. Otherwise, there was no place. Desert. You didn't have
no river, no running water.
Yeah. So we go into Phoenix and take a shower and go and buy a meal, which was really something. But it was only a quarter, 20 cents, whatever. But then we left that place because he said the fruit was ready to be picked in Lower California. So we went over there, and the fruit wasn't ready, but the lettuce they raised. Hard to see lettuce, head lettuce. So then there was another thing where you had to stoop down or crawl on your hands and knees. You put your hand on it to see if it was hard enough. On the top there, and you had this sharp, about that wide a knife, and then you cut it off, throw it in the middle. Somebody else would come back and roll them up on the wagon. Yeah, we worked there for quite a while. And then, years ago.
Well, you were waiting for the fruit to come in, so did you go to some place with fruit?
What?
You were waiting for the fruit to come in.
No, this is before the fruit came in. It was these peas, these big long peas. As you buy in the store.
Right.
It was pea fields, and you got to pick those too.
Could you eat them too?
Well, you better not eat too many.
Otherwise you wouldn't get paid.
No, well, the digestive system.
Okay.
Eat too many of those things. And I was so leery about it because it poisoned all that stuff, you know.
Oh, okay. They used DDT or
whatever it was.
Some kind of pesticide.
Or some type of insect that we used it for. So, we stayed there and worked there for a while. I got a kick out of these Mexican girls who couldn't speak English, and I would talk to them all, and they'd start like giggling away. They could pick twice as many after. But then we got into the peas, and then we got into the beans, the lettuce, that was all over, and then the peas, and then the lettuce fields, the one in there. There you had to grab them like this, and if it was hard, then cut it off and throw it in. And then from there, then we went into Lower California, where the fruit was oranges, lemons, a lot of, they had dates.
Dates grow on trees, right?
Yeah.
So instead of crawling now, or stooping over, now you were stretching.
And they also go right with apples there too.
Mm.
So they had a lot of ladders, step ladders. Then the oranges, you had a thing in your hand, if you lift it right, you put it in the ringer, they call it. So before you picked it off, you put that orange in there, and if it went through that ring, then you didn't pick that one.
Because it was too small.
Too small.
Oh.
Yeah. So you just went. But most of the time, I could stand below, I was tall enough, to pick them all around the bottom, and the other guys would go on the ladder. Yeah.
So then you were sleeping in your truck every night and cooking out
right.
And having apples or oranges or peas or beans. Whatever.
That night I was the preacher.
You were the preacher.
All of these people, Wokies, they were very religious, but they couldn't read or write. So at night I'd read the Bible.
That was a great saying.
That's really a nice stuff. But these people were so poor. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that died.
Yeah.
Because there was no doctor there. Well, from there, let me see, we of us went to Phoenix and got a shower and,
They must have smelled you coming, Daddy.
And we had a good meal once. And from there we went to Lower California. We worked in fruits, apples, apricots. There were some pears there too. But that you had to pick off the ladder. And then we went way up along the shoreline. There wasn't any more work there, so we went up the shoreline all the way to was it Sacramento? Well, anyway, we found the first gold. Sutter's Fort.
Yes, right. Sutter's, yeah, right.
Sutter's Fort.
And
in San Francisco, we went into a place, a hiring place. They told us, well, if you go over there, you get a job. Because they were making firewood. See, in those days, they didn't have any natural gas in the wintertime for homes in San Francisco. There wasn't anything there. They all burned firewood in the wintertime because it gets cooler. So then we worked there.
Cutting?
Well, it was gangs, some would go in there and would cut the trees down, and some would trim them off, and some would put the big ones here and the small ones there, and then put them through the saw, right lengths.
You must have been exhausted that night when you were in bed.
I don't remember that anymore. But I always could work it. Let's see, where did we go from there? Oh,
were you still all together now? We're all four
guys. Right. And then we got to San Francisco, right? And Bernie Heidenreiter and this classic runner, they said they were going home. And they wanted their money. So, I don't know who had the money to join or whatever, but anyway, they took their share. They bought a whole Model T, and they went back. And they never stopped. They wanted to get home so bad, they just kept it going until they got to Wisconsin. And they got home, and they never had any problems with their Model T. Yeah. touch it.
Why did they want to go home? Were they just tired of it? Why did they go home? Were they just homesick?
Yeah, they were homesick. They wanted to go home. They didn't want to live that way anymore.
They wanted a popcorn cheeseburger.
Yeah. But so John and I, we just kept going up along the coast there with the truck. And, let's see, where was it? They didn't have that bridge across there yet in San Francisco.
Oh, the Golden Gate Bridge?
Golden Gate
They
Bridge.
didn't.
But,
Yeah.
they were working on it. They would drive on a boat, on a ferry.
Oh.
And then they would take you underneath the bridge and the road there, and then you could keep on going.
Now, what were you driving?
That same one.
Oh, okay, the same truck.
They had bought a Model T in Phoenix. These other two guys when they left. So we just kept going all the way up. We didn't even work. We just saw the sights. So we got up to the top as far as we could go. What's that city up there?
Like Seattle, up there in Washington State?
Washington State, Seattle. We got up there. And we started to talk to some guys. I said, you could see the mountains. I said, how high are those mountains? Holy crap. And I showed them the car, and I said, you want to make it with that. So we took it to a place there, and the guy gave us another $25 for it.
So you got back what you paid for it?
Yeah.
That's neat. Did you see any redwood trees when you were out there?
Sure, we drove right through them all around. Oh, immense. That one where you could drive a car through, and one was like big enough where it could be a house. Let's see, where did we go from there?
You sold the truck, so what?
Yeah, we were in Seattle. We sold the truck, and I'll never forget that. It was the first time a guy came up to me and he had in his hand, he dope, some kind of dope.
Oh, like hashish or marijuana?
Marijuana. There was cigarettes there. He says, hey buddy, it was illegal to do it. Hey buddy, you got a quarter of it first. He said, give you 3 marijuana cigarettes for a quarter. I said, you go to hell. And we stayed, it's just Johnny and I, and we stayed in the Salvation Army there.
That's why you're so fond of the Salvation Army.
Yeah, we stayed in the Salvation Army there, and then they told us, well, you give us a ride to the railroad yards were, and what train to take, and so we could get a ride home. So that's what we did. And what first they were, you got the Salvation Army, take all your clothes, you put them in a steamer, fill all the plugs and everything, burn for whatever. And then they gave us some meal, and they gave us a map, and told us where to go. So from there on, when we got on the freight train, but then the train didn't go on the northern part. They had to go south again, not much. But that train that they had there, I mean, that line that was there.
So, in those days, the trains didn't worry too much if you were riding the freight cars. I mean, you weren't talking about being a passenger. You were talking about
riding freight trains.
Riding the freight train, yeah. But they did. So they didn't. The trains didn't care if you did that, or did they try to chase you off?
All depended on the people. All depended on the brakeman and the engineer didn't do it. What's it called? Hose. Freight hose. They were detectives, for the freight company. from. They kicked us off once. But they kicked us off in a place where it was pretty nice. There was an old schoolhouse, that a wooden schoolhouse down there, and we built a fire and we slept there. And then this freight train, this guys on the train, they told us the next day we were walking, and then they had to stop too for new checks. And one guy told us where to go, where there was a highway. So we walked over there, and he says there's a city there too. So we walked over there, and it's easy walking on the highway.
Yeah.
And then we got into that city. Well, anyway, from there on, we rode the freight trains.
Now, Eric and Rob are going to think that if you rode the freight trains, maybe you had a stick with a red bandana stuffed full of stuff on the end of it, and you carried. No, that's not the way it was.
No.
that's what's going to be in their mind.
There was a lot of what? Yeah, that's right. There were jungles along when you were getting into a major city or something like that. And, there were camps there. People who were out of work, you know.
What we would call
people
hobos?
who were on the roads, you know, hobos.
Did you ever meet any of them?
Oh, sure. We did.
Did they share? I mean, were they?
Everybody shared whatever you had. Yeah, they were nice people.
They were kind of like the homeless or the street people
Right.
of today.
Well, just like me, didn't have a home, you know, you go on the road. But they probably were been on the road longer than I was. So we got, let's see, we got kicked off that one time, but then that guy wanted to break and told us to go where we could go in Texas. So, and we just rode all the way into Chicago, into the Chicago lots there where the trains all come in. Well, before that, before we crossed the river, there was a city there, and then we went, the guy told us there was a Salvation Army place, a big one they had there. And I'm telling you, it was big. It was large, they had all kinds of young guys, old men, everything.
Lots of beds.
And there you always had a shower, they gave you a good shower, you took your clothes, and they threw them in the steamer, and kill all the bugs and everything else. And the next day they give you $1 and a map and tell you exactly where to go. So we came in the southern part of Chicago, and Johnny Walner had some relation there. And there in those days, you could get on the streetcar, I think it was 7 cents or a nickel or something, I don't know, you could ride. You could ride to a certain point and then get a, what do they call those, Ray?
A pass? I think a pass.
Pass or toll. Get on the next streetcar. I think we rode about transfers, that's it. We rode on about 3 of them. Until we found where Johnny Warner's relation was. And then we stayed there that night. Where they fed us and everything, and we stayed there and slept there that night. My shoe, on the inside here, it all came apart right like.
Oh no. And it lasted all that time?
Yeah, and I had it tied up, couldn't tie the cord. So they gave us some money and showed us where took us where we could get on that streetcar that would take you to Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
And then from there on it was easy. You just asked the conductor on the streetcar where's the next one going, and he'd tell you where
car that went from Milwaukee to Suburban?
Sure.
Nice.
You remember that, don't you, Ray? Yeah, well, I don't know what time we got into Boyd. But before that, we went to Johnny's relatives there. And, we had a bath and everything cleaned up. Yeah, it was. Because their clothes all, every time you go into Salvation Army, they'd be lost. So we didn't have to worry about that. But then we took that streetcar all the way from Chicago up to Boyd, and we walked from Boyd. Or we just, we were walking and somebody gave us a ride. We didn't have a lot of time. We didn't care how long it was going to take. You know? I had a book that wrote everything down in the book.
I think that's why you remember it so well, because you really did.
I wrote it all down. And then Johnny Walmer, one time, what was her name? Beulah.
Beulah Hoyce?
No. What? No, not Beulah. They lived on top of the hill. Riker. Beulah Riker. I went to school. Then he gave it to her, and I never got that back.
I thought maybe they took it and made the grapes of wrath out of it.
Possible, you know. It's sort of like the grapes of wrath.
Yeah, it is kind of like the grapes of wrath.
That's when the book came out.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Not at my age.
No. It was a great learning experience.
Sure, if I was a kid nowadays, but now the kids don't have to do that, and you don't have all the freight trains that they had then. But the train people, they treat you really nice. I can remember one time I was outside in Peoria or something.
Yeah, Peoria, Illinois,
And we had got separated, John and I. So there was the jungle. They call them jungles with the hobos, right? But there was a fellow sitting there on a bench, and he was eating his lunch. I don't know, he worked someplace close by there. Well, anyway, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden he looked at me and gave me a great big sandwich like that.
You didn't have anything to eat.
I hadn't eaten for a day and a half, I guess. And I never asked him, he just gave it to me. I said, thank you. And that night we slept outside on the ground, and then the next day Johnny Walmer came. So then we went to his relatives and got baths, and then we went home.
I hope he had been lucky enough for somebody to give him a sandwich.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm imagining. Oh, jumping on the cars. He was the mechanic in the car. The trains are moving and you're trying to get on there. And you gotta grab the top rung and then lift your feet up so you can get your feet on. And then most of the time it would swing you in between the two cars. So you had to be careful that you didn't get knocked off. Because there was rungs on the inside too. So you could hang on in the inside.
People were not as violent then as today. Right? It was a gentler time. People were today, I would be very scared if at 18 Eric or Rob had done that.
Oh.
Because I would be afraid that somebody might mug them or stab them or take their money.
Well, I don't know. You just said it. But there was some times when I was really scared too. There's one time when, like I told you, we stopped training and then the railroad dicks would check and kicked us off. And we were standing there and we wanted to know where we were going and what the hell we were doing and everything else. And I smoked a pipe then too, so I had an overhauls on with my pipe was stuck in there where you just put the
hammers and stuff.
No, just the ruler, yeah. So I reached down there to pull my pipe off and jingle had my gun right in my face.
That is scary.
He says, well, what do you got there? I said, well, just my pipe.
Yeah.
He was a big guy, bowler hat.
And what did you smoke in your pipe? Were you able to find tobacco, or did you smoke like corn silk or whatever?
No, you could always buy pipe tobacco. I didn't smoke much.
Covered up with newspapers.
Oh yeah. At night and build a big fire and then we cover up with newspapers.
Because you didn't have a sleeping bag.
I didn't have a sleeping bag.
That must have been so exciting.
Sometimes it was.
Yeah. And just to see a lot, to meet a lot of interesting people. And some people who were very kind to you, and then other people who weren't.
Well, like those gopis up there. I had never heard of that before, On the side, it was illegal to sell it. It was illegal to use it.
When you were out west, did you see cowboys?
Sure.
And Indians?
Well, let's see, cowboys, so more cowboys than Indians. There weren't any wild Indians around, but there were Indian people. A lot of Mexicans. A lot of us worked in the fruit fields and vegetable fields.
Just like you do today.
Yeah.
So when you came back, then did you get a job?
Sure, I got a job with business right away because they were looking for a catcher for baseball, for a baseball.
And you were in good shape too, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were in good shape. But it had probably been a long time since you played ball.
Well, as a kid, you're awesome.
How long did this trip take? Was it a year that you were gone?
Well, let's see, we left not quite a year. But I think when we came back it was summertime and we left in the fall. Early fall, I think, because we were all done with canning the corn. Well, whenever the corn came in, that's when we went. All those fellows are dead and I'm the only one left.
It's because you didn't eat any of those vegetables that had all that pesticide in it. Is there anything else that you can think of to say about your trip?
Well,
Okay.
what I would like to do is just have enough money to take a trip and go the same route.
Oh, yeah. We ought to get out the map of the United States and just trace your route.
Well, the roads are also different.
Yeah. Or we could go from state to state. We could find approximately where you crossed on the Mississippi. I wanted to do that anyway. I've got a map of the United States, and then we can count up and see how many states you have been in. Okay, we're going to stop now. If we think of anything else, we will add it to this.
Okay.
wanted to talk about the gold fields in California.
Yeah. They, what did they call it?
You mean at Sutter's?
Sutter's Fort.
Yeah.
Yeah. We worked there, making firewood. We'd chop trees down or saw them down, and then we'd saw them up in the lengths, the right length for the fire figures, because they use a lot of it in San Francisco. And right where we were working there, there's a fella had dug out, let's see, $1,000 worth of, about $5,000 or $6,000 worth of gold.
Oh, yeah.
Just at the same area on the same creek that we were in. Yeah.
Oh.
That he had dug that out.
Did you pan for any gold while you were there?
Yeah. Well, you can get, you know, if you swirl it around, and you see all these little glittering things in there, but it would take you a year to get $1.50. But that was right where Sutter Fort was. He built a fort there. That wasn't there anymore. But that's where we made the firewood for the people in San Francisco. So that's what I want to tell you about the gold fields there.
Okay, gosh.
And when you, well, just like here, if you walk, and all of a sudden it would be flat land, and then you would see mounds like that. And that was from, they would take the land, these big machines, to dig up all the dirt, and run it through with water. They'd have water tanks there and everything, and they'd take this dirt and put it in there, and then put water on it, and then gold was the heaviest, so it would stay on the bottom. And you had all these little ripples in there so they catch it. And there was still an old timer looking for gold. He had a tent there and a little camp for himself, nice fireplace. He was still looking for gold, and he said he made enough every year that he could go back to San Francisco and get drunk and then come back again.
Did he have a mule and a big beard?
No.
Looked like Gabby Hayes.
Car. That's what I want to tell you about that guy. Other than that, I don't know of anything else that happened to us. Well, a lot of pancakes. But we'd go in town and buy canned goods and potatoes and fresh vegetables and fruit. You would get fruit was really cheap, like oranges and all that stuff. It was really cheap. So we had enough food all of us. Pardon?
You had some flocks, so you didn't have enough to make your pancakes dry. Things like that.
Yeah, we didn't have, what do you put it against baking powder? We didn't have any of that, so it was hard to make pancakes there.
Did you have syrup? Or what did you put on your pancakes?
Well, you could have syrup or a honey, like, I don't, we would probably have both because honey was cheaper than syrup. They have a lot of bees down there in that area.
And you were a long way from where the maple trees were.
Right. Yeah. In the desert, the rain, the desert would be just as dry one day, and when it would rain, the next morning you got up, and the whole desert was full of flowers. In an hour they'd blossom.
Oh, they were just waiting. Just waiting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. When you had said one time how hot it was out in the desert, that the heat was so intense that nothing could survive in that heat, and that you sought the shade, and all the other little critters would.
And then that story about that sit in the shade underneath the greasewood a beechwood tree, or not a tree, it's a bush. And when these little beetles would come to seek the shade, and take a stick and flick them off there again, and they turn right around and zip, they come right back to the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was hot.
That was hot.
But it probably wasn't humid. It was a dry heat.
No, oh no, it wasn't. No way. It was awful hot and dry. The only thing you had there was this barrel cactus, big arms sticking up, you know, and you had birds. These birds would pick holes in there, big enough so they could make a nest in there.
In the cactus?
Yes, in the cactus, about that big. Sure. And then insects would come there, and then the birds would eat the insects.
Isn't it interesting how nature survives?
Well, you've seen these, there's a name for those cactus.
Yeah, I can't think what those are either.
So you can see a whole field of them, like from here all the way across over to that cabin over there. And then there wouldn't be any for a while. But I don't know if they're all dying. I don't imagine there's any left there anymore now, unless it's on a federal park now.
They're endangered species now because people are buying them.
Grandma says they're endangered.
Yeah. But they were a mess. They were all fat.
Are they a succulent? They retain moisture.
Yes. Looking for gold.
You mean bad guys or what?
No. Just some old guy. And he'd have a burro or a mule.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And then he'd go out looking for a girl gold. And one day, I took a walk. I could see, like from here, maybe over, up there where the hill is.
Up to where the big house is?
I could see, there's a mound of dirt there now. What the hell, how did that ever get there? So I walked over there. And there was an old guy. What do they call those guys? Those prospector, yeah. He was prospecting. And he had a shanty there. He brought me in and gave me some water to drink, you know, and we would talk. And he told me that he had a daughter in Phoenix. And she'd come and bring him his food. You know, she'd come at least once a week to check up on him. And that's what he wanted to do. He must have been about 70, 80 years old then. And he had a burro. Yeah. And she would come. She always had to bring the water, you know, because there was no water. Right. And bring enough for the burro, too. Of course, a burro could go a long time. That's why they used to use it on the river. Yeah, I forgot about that. He was a nice fellow. She'd come every week and make sure you were still alive and bring him food and water. And she'd go back again. And the week she'd come back again. I can't think of his name. But like you always read in the books or see in the movies, well, that's the way those old prospectors look. They never shaved, they had a beard, you know, an old floppy hat, or to keep the sun out of them, suspenders, that's what they look.
I bet he never had a bath. I bet he never used any water for a bath.
Probably not, no. But there was, when we worked there in the cotton, thick cotton, there they had a big tank, real high one, made out of wood. And it was full of water. Well, I imagine they had stream
Oh,
underneath.
yeah, right.
And you could get drink of water there, and we'd get enough to take a shower.
Mm.
But then we found out that we were only so far from Phoenix, so every weekend we'd go into Phoenix and every Saturday and take a shower.
No, did they have a public bath? Is that
For
what
a
they had?
nickel.
Oh.
Usually a Turkish bath everywhere.
Mm.
I had forgotten about that old prospector. He was a character. Yeah, those days are all gone. But the best part was that I was the preacher every Sunday night. And sometimes they would want me to read every night. They were so happy that there was somebody there.
And you had the King James version too, with all the these and thous and dusts and
Yeah.
Jesus.
That was the cotton pickers. What? Johnny Walner was with us and with me. And there was a girl there, and I think he got next to her, he slept with her or something. Because one day he says, I have to go into Phoenix. I said, well, what the hell do you want? Phoenix. We'll wait till Saturday or what? No, he says, he says he had a dose of, he had crabs.
Oh, dear.
You were an atheist, too.
Yeah. And then I says, well, you better go. Big crowd from one body to another.
Yeah, right.
But these people were from Missouri, and she never took a shower or bath for years. But that's the kind of guy he was. I mean, no matter where he went, he was always after the women. He was a good dancer. He liked to dance.
Did the people ever get up dances? Like sometimes you see in the movies that people would, who were congregated like that, would somebody pull out a harmonica and another person would pull out some spoons, and pretty soon they'd be making music. Did you ever see anything like that?
Yeah. Sure. Everybody has some. Pardon? Yeah, harmonicas, or somebody rattled the boat in the spoons.
If you've been, well, I don't know. What I'd always hoped is that there'd be some kind of fiddle there, so there'd be toe tapping music.
I don't think anybody had enough money to
Buy a
a
fiddle.
fiddle. But most of those people that were on the trail going down there, and we were going down there, they had a lot of problems.
Well, it sounds like not only did they not have money, but they didn't have the knowledge about how to survive in a situation like that.
I think they weren't very well educated. That's for sure. The Australians and Germans. But we also had enough money. We never got any problem. Never got hungry. Only the last when we were coming home. got separated from John. So, was a jungle there. Just had fire there and just got rolled up and slept there. And the next morning, the guy gave me his lunch. And John came, so.
How did you and John get separated?
On the train.
Mm.
There's a cardinal.
You don't see many cardinals. Every once in a while.
There are kingdoms where you free.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see them. He was on the
We should put out some sunflower seeds, and maybe they would.
that didn't draw.
I've got a bag of sunflower seeds. They're not that real good kind of sunflower seeds, you know, but like the ones that are.
Black and white, you got the black
I
one.
don't, right. I got the
Green
little
ones.
ones. I got little ones.
The black ones were the ones I used to see.
Uh-huh.
The black ones were in the $6 for $1. $6 to $17. Well, the big black ones.
No, there's the male and the female up there. The tree.
Oh, cardinals?
Cardinal. Well, that was an experience for me. I enjoyed it. I learned an awful lot.
I'm sure you did.